that powerful you can't hold on to it, which I kind of want to try. That's it. Smart that. I know, it's painful. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I'm just going around the cows because we've had a very busy weekend, and as you can see, there's no calves in the stabilizers. Why is that? Oh, because some of them have gone out, which is really exciting. I've turned a group of bull calves as well out to grass, which are going off to Thornton, hopefully at some point this week. They're in the field at the bottom of the yard at the minute, just sort of making sure they're all right. We've had a mega busy weekend here, calving about another 10 or 12 cows and heifers. There's some calves in the gangway here as well. There's some more down the bottom, down there. But we are expecting things to slow down slightly now, because those of you who've followed me for a long time will know that we had bull issues last year. We had one go lame and then one broke his penis. So we had a window of about a week or 10 days in the middle of the calving pattern where we didn't have bulls in every group. So we're kind of fully expecting not to be mega busy for the next week or 10 days. We're thinking things are going to slow down a little bit, and they're going to inevitably slow down anyway, because we're 75% of the way through now. We're 4 weeks in, and I'm pretty pleased with that, because I don't know really what I was expecting. I didn't know whether we'd have a lot of cows that hadn't got in calf at this point and they were going to be in the later half, but to be 75% of the way through after 4 weeks, I'm pretty chuffed with that. That's some serious going. Now, something very exciting is actually happening today. I have got a demo machine on demo in the yard right now that I have been wanting for ages and ages and ages, and I spoke to the guys who have this machine last July, I think it was. It could have even been earlier than that. We're on the phone for ages trying to arrange this, and it is now here, and I'm so freaking excited to show it to you. Oh, I honestly, I can't even speak. It is, I just can't wait to show you. You know what? I'm in the tractor now. I'm going to go around the yard and I'll show you. So if you have never seen one of these things before, you are in for a treat, because this is a Tow and Fert Multi 1000. It takes granulated urea and turns it into a liquid fertilizer, so it can be foliar fed onto your grassland. But it is way more than just that. It is so incredible. If you've never heard of them, go check them out on their website, Tow and Fert. They're from New Zealand, which is one of the reasons why this has took so much getting hold of, because these things are made and manufactured in New Zealand. There is a European distributor. They are based in Ireland. A guy called Peter Coburn is your sales manager. If you want to speak to him, he'll help you work out how much less nitrogen you can use and so on and so forth. Now, this is going to be a bit geeky, I'm not going to lie. This whole video, I'm going to just be in my element, because this is a geeky video. This particular model is a standalone model, so it has an engine on it, which means that you don't have to have it behind a tractor. You can actually pull this behind a Land Rover or some sort of UTV, ATV thing. This has a stainless steel pump, which is manufactured specifically for this machine. I'll speak more about that in a bit, why they've had to do that, but it is so simple. All of these bits on here are all super strong. These are off of a bulk tank. They're just interchangeable on these kind of banjo clip things, all these bits and pieces. It sprays using these rosettes. If I take one out from down here, these are specifically designed for this machine. You put your urea into this hopper right here. This is kind of like a water slide, so the water just shoots out of there, mixed it into the tank. There's a huge agitator in that tank which gets it all spinning round, and then it sprays them out of this boom section here. Now, the thing that really got me onto the Tow and Fert was the fact that this takes your granular urea and turns it into a liquid foliar fed urea product. Now, why that is interesting is because normally when you spread your fertilizer, your granular fertilizer, and you throw it across the floor, what happens is some of that nitrogen is leached as ammonium nitrate into the atmosphere. Some of it drops below the plant root structure so that you can't obtain that within the plant, and then the rest of it is actually taken up and into the plant, and that process can take about 3 weeks to actually happen. Especially with urea, it takes a little bit longer. There's more chemical reactions that have to happen, and in that process you lose around about 50% of that nitrogen, so a lot of it disappears. With a foliar fed nitrogen like this, you don't use the soil. What you do is you apply that to the leaf itself, and the leaf have little stomata on them, which is effectively like little mouths. When you have a nice day, that today is perfect, those stomata will open and suck in that liquid, and it takes your liquid feed from being a 50% efficient feed to being over 90% efficient, which is mind-blowing, but absolute genius. Now before we go and actually spread this stuff, I want to show you a couple of things that I think are pretty cool on this machine. This machine can self-fill, so you can take these caps off here and fill it up out of a pond or a big water trough or out of a brook line or anything like that. And it comes with its own pipe. And this pipe here goes all the way around and fastens on that side. And I just love how they've thought about that. It just sits inside those mud guards there, nice and neat, clips on either end, and it's safe and you can take it wherever you want. It also comes with a filter and it comes with a bulk washing hose as well, so you can actually use this to bulk wash anything. And apparently if you don't have all the valves all the way open, it's that powerful you can't hold onto it, which I kind of want to try. The dead switch here for obviously turning off your electric, and this particular model, so this one and the ones above this, all have weigh cells on so that you can accurately measure what you're putting in, the amount of water you're putting in, how you are spreading it, and how much you're putting on per hectare. You might have noticed I was touching the valves just here because urea is endothermic, which means that it pulls all the heat out of the water, which means all of this stuff where the water goes all frosts up, but all of this is all frosty and below zero because it just pulls all that heat out of the water. Everything stainless steel or galvanized, which I like. It's got a decent jockey wheel, which I appreciate too, and it comes with this sort of pin system for altering the height of the ball hitch. So well made. Solid tank. It's a good solid bit of kit. Right, let's go and take this for a spin then, shall we, and see what we can get up to. Right, so let me talk a little bit more about this machine and explain to you how it works and the other things that it can do. If you were watching those videos and thinking, the stuff coming out of there looks brown, well, the reason for that is because I've used molasses as a carbon source. And that's because nitrogen is negatively charged and soil is also negatively charged. So what you do when you spread nitrogen, you're effectively trying to force together two repelling magnets, and they're just, as much as you can force them, they're never going to interact with each other. And the molasses is a carbon source which is positively charged, so effectively you're putting a positive magnet between two repelling magnets and it will allow everything to bind together and work better. So that's part of the reason why it looked brown. But another reason it could look brown is because you could use something like silage effluent or dirty water as your water source. I'm just using clean water that I'm sucking up out of the brook. You can use anything really, as long as it's not thick and sludgy, it should be fine in here. Now, I mentioned that they make this centrifugal trash pump themselves. So the reason why they do that is because the other things that this machine can do is it can spread fine particle lime flowers, it can spread seeds, you can add in humates, like I said, molasses, what I'm putting in. You can put so many things in here. You can even use it for herbicides, and you can tank mix everything. You can put it all in together and spread them, and that's one of the reasons why they have different size rosettes in the end of here, because if you're putting in small seeds, stuff like clover, plantain, anything that's round, mustard, whatever, you have a bigger rosette in there and it allows you to have a higher water volume, but also allows you to put more stuff through it. These booms are made this way because there is a constant circulation of water going on. So when you have this machine full, it agitates the whole drum full of water and keeps everything in suspension. So in this machine, you can add a ton of fine particle lime flour and keep it in suspension in the water. It's absolutely incredible. But that's why these booms have 2 sections to them, because there has to be a constant circulation of water going around there, or else all the particles of flour or whatever you're putting in there will settle out. And these valves on this end work upon water pressure, so when you turn them off, it drops the water pressure so that this spring pushes out and stops anything coming out of the rosette, but it doesn't stop the circulation of the water, which I just personally think is absolute genius. The other thing I like about it is the controls on this thing. It is just this, and it's absolutely genius, because if you want to be out here and do something like shut it up, you can just press the button. Look at that. And it just shuts. And it's so simple. You just press number 1, opens it and shuts it again. And then number 2 is on and off. That's it. Smart, that. Now, where a machine like this comes into its own is when you're rotational grazing, because if you wait till you've got 3 or 4 days worth of regrowth and you've got that nice little fresh green shoot coming, and then you slap some nitrogen on in a liquid form like this, you are just gonna watch that grass fly. New Zealand is a long way to go and get one, but I just think it's genius, I really do. Oh, and something else I ought to point out as well, whilst I'm being an absolute nerd, is that because you're using this as sort of foliar fed, so you're putting it onto the leaf, you're not putting that nitrogen through the soil, which means that you're not getting the degradation to the soil as what you would normally get with your granular nitrogen. And that means that the plant can act in a natural way, so it will start and put down deeper roots to search for more nitrogen, trace elements and vitamins and minerals in the soil to give yourself a healthier plant overall. So you'll grow more dry matter with this thing, because you're not just using forced fertilizer to grow grass, you're actually using the plant to grow grass, and you're aiding it by feeding it through the leaf. So it's really smart in the way that you're kind of getting both the benefits of using an artificial fertilizer, but you're also getting the benefits of the organic and regenerative type of farming, where you're getting more root structure in your soil. I really think I need to get my head around it a bit more, because what I'm doing currently is so simple compared to what you can do with this thing, but I'm just trying to learn to get on my feet with it a bit before I go and try and do anything a little bit more crazy like the lime flower things. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to feed it up, and then I'm going to go and crack on with a bit more. Just come back up on the wall to check the cows. Honestly, I don't think I've scratched the surface on what this machine can do. It absolutely blows my mind. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, I didn't tell them that, I didn't tell them this, I didn't tell them the other. But if you are interested in it, go and check it out on the website. Just put in Google like Tow and Fert UK, it will come up with the European website, whatever it is. If you're interested in a demo, get in touch with them, because I'm sure Peter will be more than interested in getting you scheduled in when he's next over from Ireland. And just sign up and read through all of that stuff that's on that website. Look at the videos on YouTube. Honestly, it blows my mind. I just can't go on about it enough. Anyway, I'm going to get a wriggle on, because I'm going to the football tonight. Yes, I'm going to watch Leicester City. I know, it's painful. Fingers crossed we can beat Villa. Anyway, have a great weekend. See you in a bit. Ta-da!